Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. You know, the other morning I turned on the television and I listened to a young lady. She was giving a testimony on a broadcast. She had been a part of the mega group under Trump, and she had broken away. Now, the interview was gonna let allow us, the public, to see how she got into this thing, and it basically had to do with her upbringing, as to say the least. But what she really was mentioned that with that upbringing, she hated Democrats. She thought that Democrats were straight out of the pit of hell, and that it was the duty and responsibility of God-loving people to be able to get rid of them. All of this was just a touch of what she had been experiencing. But as she grew up, from a kid going to college, I guess somewhere down there something happened. She was telling us about it, but what I just wanted to say and make a point of is how much she felt negative about Democrats. So you know what she felt about people, immigrants. You know what she felt about blacks and people of color. You know all of that. And where did that education again come from? From everything that she was associated with. The far right wing uh, religion. She was listened to Rush Limbaugh all the time, she said. And she listened to her father, who was far right wing, who loved Trump until he became president and 2020 came along. Now, he voted for him in 2020 now. But what happened is with how Trump responded after 2020. But anyway, this is where part of America is. I just want you to see that. Part of America is right there. And why did I want you to see that? Because the rest of America has the same opinion but directed at the opposite view. A house split, divided against itself, blaming the other half for walking away because it could not stand the pressure of what the other brought. So I say, we Americans, we know how we bought those stories. We bought every kind of story. And as I've mentioned to you, there is a truth out there whether you want to accept it or not. I mean, you get 1,000 times a fake, a false, and maybe every now and then you might hear truth. You might think that every now and then might highlight it and you'd remember it all the time. But no, it gets drowned on all of the other prop. But I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the message that I tell you, I want you to judge it and to see if it is or can be from God. And if so, can you accept it? You know, I also heard a politician, she might have been at the low level, I don't know, and they were talking about the crime, because there's a lot of crime going on in these cities and towns and neighborhoods. And her answer was, we need to get more money invested. We need more cops on the street. We need to make sure that these judges have the law behind them as they cause and create the kind of punishment that would make people want to stay away from that kind of stuff. I was listening to it. And it was in line with the same old kind of stuff that Trumpism is about. And this was before Trumpism was known. It is not knowing the answer. But they will tell you that this answer is from God. And if you're on that team, you'll accept it. But what I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, is that we do not need more cops. Not. We don't need more arrests. What we need is a change in the system where there is justice, where there are no criminals, where people's needs, people's wants, and people's desires are met. So where are the excuses? They ended with the truth. So This is a message from God. The other says what has been said is a message from God. You know, people say there's a lot of stealing going on throughout the world. So why do people steal? If there are no needs for stealing, no wants, no desires, there ain't no stealing. But you know, somebody say if you fix that, if you want drugs, who's going to buy some drugs? And with what do you buy drugs with? So we know today you sell drugs to make money. But if you're not making any money because people are not dealing with that, they don't need it. They own everything. So nobody would be buying drugs. Now, I'm sure people would be, if they choose to, would use drugs, but it'd be trading. If you want sex, when I speak of it like this, I'm talking about prostitution. I'm talking about selling. I'm talking about making money. But if you have no need for that, it won't be doing it. You won't be selling sex, no one will be buying sex. So what I'm saying, I'm not saying that all of the problems will be gone, will be wiped out. No, I'm not saying that, because you can bet your last money they won't. But some of those most major problems, you know, the major problems that say we need to put people in jail. We need to lock them up like animals. We need cops to make sure we can guard them. And we do that, but it doesn't stop anything because the need is still there. And people keep on doing it. But now we've learned. And so we said we take away that need, and the cops can, where did they go? Where did they go with the guns? This is what I'm talking to you about, ladies and gentlemen. But check this out. Here's another thing that I want you to know when it comes down to God. The real God. The love of God. You have heard it said that in heaven people don't get sick. I don't know about that. What I do know, though, is if they did get sick, and if they tried to, and if someone laid hands on them and they didn't recover, and they could come up with something that would aid them, they do it. I know that because that's how it worked here. We, the human race, got sick for various reasons, and we needed care, health care. Excuse me. Well, that great mother, that great father knew that and prepared for that. And so when that need was made available, we discovered that there were people out there who had been wondering how to get a chance to exercise the gifts. And so now you got a doctor, you got medication, the great love of God. So wouldn't it be kind of superficial for God to love you and make sure that someone comes here, bring that knowledge, get a chance to develop it and use it, and then run into a problem that some cannot use it because they put a price on it? They said you need this, you need money. But they're, wait a minute. That didn't sound like it was from God, did it? No, I know it did, ladies and gentlemen. Because when God sent it, it was for everybody that needed it. It was not to be weighed on any other scale except need or wanted. or desired health care. This God prepared for that. And this is also the way He prepared for it in every area of life. Now, I'm telling you that this thing that everybody wants, peace, prosperity, freedom, and joy, all of that is available to you by following the principles that would get you there. And basically, those principles are loving the Lord thy God with all the heart, body, soul, and mind. That basically means recognizing that everything exists by a power that's bigger than you, better than you, and all of that is responsible for your being here, and will be responsible when you leave here and you ain't got nothing to say about it, and you ain't no fool. You know that. Now, you love God like that, you know that each of us are product of God. We as individuals are like the lilies in the field, or should I say the flowers in the field, or the flowers in a bouquet. They're beautiful, each representing its variations. Wonderful. And we as people, same, bring with us certain things that are common and other things that are unique, that are just as acceptable as those things which are common, because we're so excited it does us good. This, my friends, is what we're talking about when we're talking about life. And this comes when you follow the principles of treating people like you want to be treated. Everything else, everything you need outside of that has been given. Look at the game is being played through ignorance. When I'm saying ignorance, it's like the young lady who was brought up listening to this stuff, trained with this stuff, hating with this stuff, and it's permeated throughout our existence. And here today we are reflective of it. But the same thing that was required then is required now, and that is for the love of God to be experienced. Teach people what God's about, what love is about. But you can't teach people what love is about, what God's about, when you don't know. So, in order to know, first thing you got to do is admit you don't know. Because the crap ain't working. But don't give up. Indication that you want to know. And when that which you have tried fails, you look for something else. And once you can start looking for the power, the answer outside of yourself, outside of who's in office and outside of your organizations, then that means you're looking for the Spirit. Now, there are two out there, but only one will give you the things of your heart. The others will deceive you and tell you you deserve more than that, and try this and watch yourself. That's when you start using money, and that's when you start having the poverty, the crime, and the violence, and all that other kind of stuff. So again, bring you back to what works. When your little babies can grow up and become adults, beautiful adults, live their lives throughout, and they, my friends, become parents. Wow. But no, somebody else has told you about God sent a messenger with a message that caused the nation to ready to go to battle, take up guns, threaten people, gonna force people like they use in cops and jails and arrests. Gonna make it. But tell the people the truth. And when they wake up, they'll see it. But how do they wake up? Because if you telling them, brother, I hope you know what you're talking about. Why do I say that? Because I know you have no effect if you don't know it. And how do you know it? By walking it. Thank you.